Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 48 of the Computer Business Marketing Show. Today's episode is brought to you by TechReputation. TechReputation offers IT business owners a simple and effective way to manage, acquire, and market their positive reviews online. In addition, the online dashboard includes the ability to enter your company details once and have it published automatically to over 60 directory and review sites and keep it updated, synchronized, and without duplication. For a 14-day free trial, visit techreputation.com/TSB, and for 10% off your setup and monthly subscription, use the coupon code TSB10. That's TSB10 at techreputation.com/TSB. And it's brought to you by Tech Blog Builder. Tech Blog Builder is the blog writing service for IT businesses. We craft content that converts website visitors into customers with 100% unique, SEO-ready, professionally written blog posts delivered on a consistent schedule. Learn more at techblogbuilder.com. On today's show, I will dig into the anatomy of an effective blog post. I'll cover 8 tips to follow to make sure that the posts you write for your business blog get read and get you readers and get them to take action and hire you. All that and so much more coming up right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Computer Business Marketing Show. If you own or work in an IT services business, this is the place to learn how to get more clients, keep them happy, and grow your revenue. You can watch, download, and or subscribe to all show episodes at computerbusinessmarketing.com. You can also catch our live stream on Facebook every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Just be sure to like the Tech Site Builder Facebook page, click the following tab, and then select See First, so that the video will jump to the top of your news feed and you can check it out. You can catch the pre-show that we do before the show where we talk about the weather and we talk about what's going on with everyone in the chat and Facebook, and it's a grand old time. So definitely would love you to join us there. The topic for today's episode is it's all about me. Well, not really, but I don't have a guest. So I am going to be talking to myself about how to write an effective blog post. So the title of this is The Anatomy of an Effective Blog Post. And so we're going to go kind of step by step, piece by piece through eight things that you should want to make sure that you include in a blog post when you're writing it for your business. And we're going to jump into that here in a minute. But first, I just want to remind you guys about the Computer Business Marketing newsletter. That is the newsletter that you can sign up for, and every week you'll get a message delivered to your inbox with some marketing tips and tricks specifically curated for IT businesses. So we talk about, we have the latest podcast episode in there, and then we've got a lot of other different articles from around the internet about different aspects of marketing, and we have some of the group posts from the Facebook group. So in case you're not in Facebook all day like I am, you can use the newsletter to see kind of the popular topics from the Facebook group, see what other computer business owners are talking about. And then there's always the tip of the week, a little tip that I throw out there to keep you motivated, to get you thinking about some different angles and different ideas about marketing your computer business. So that is available at computerbusinessmarketing.com. Just head over there, and there's a form at the top. Just fill it out, put in your name and your email address, and you will be subscribed to the newsletter. We'd love to see you there, and that's kind of an extension of this show. So if you like the show, then you'll definitely like the newsletter. And we put some time into it to make sure it's valuable for you. So definitely check that out. Okay, so I asked the folks in the Facebook group who are watching this live to ask questions, and I got my first question, and that is, what has been your favorite podcast moment so far? And that is a great question, and that's one I have to think about. I'm not prepared to answer that because I don't know. There have been a lot of good ones. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Let me get back to you on that one. I love every episode. Honestly, it's a lot of fun. I mean, there's nothing that really sticks out over any other moment. I love like the episodes I did with Paco when he was the guest host or the co-host of the show. I also like some of the early episodes when I was just getting started and just starting to figure out this whole podcasting thing. But yeah, I don't really have like a standout moment that stands out. It's just kind of been a fun ride so far. So yeah, great. If you guys have any more questions, even if they're totally off topic like that one, just throw them in the chat and I'll answer them on the show. Okay, so the Computer Business Marketing newsletter is there, and I want to introduce a new sponsor. So we have a new sponsor of this episode, and it is a business you'll recognize because we interviewed the founder last week, and that is Tech Reputation. Tech Reputation is a place, a service you could sign up for to easily generate more online reviews for your IT business. So we've talked on this show about review funnels, and basically the way, and that's what this service is, basically the way that works is anytime you finish doing a service for a customer, this Tech Reputation takes over and it automatically sends out an email to your customers asking for a review. And we know that reviews are kind of the lifeblood of businesses these days online. If someone's looking for a business to do business with, they're doing research online, they're looking at those 5 stars or there's 4 stars or, God forbid, those 3 stars that might show up in Google or in Facebook or wherever your business is listed, Yelp, one of those platforms. So you want to make sure that you're getting good reviews, you're getting lots of reviews. Not only does that help your business look good, it also helps with search engine optimization, and all of the algorithms of all these listing places usually put at the top the people who have the most reviews and the best reviews. So we're covering how to get more reviews, and that is by setting up the funnel, automatically emailing your clients, asking them for a review. Then it'll allow you to point them in the right direction of what place you want them to review. Google, Facebook, Yelp, all the choices that are out there. You can direct them to the place you want them to leave a review. Not only that, but if the person has a bad experience, so they're going to leave a negative review, it will redirect them to you so that you can take care of it and help them through it and make sure that you can spin that bad experience into a good experience. So it basically, it'll say, did you have a good experience or a bad experience? Or, you rate your experience as the customer. If it's anything below a certain threshold, it'll forward them back to you. They'll be able to leave you a message and tell you why they had a bad experience before they get a chance to leave a bad review online. And then it's also got a cool dashboard where you can see and manage all of your reviews and get kind of an overview of how you're doing. Very slick dashboard. You can also monitor all of the alerts across all your different platforms. You can also curate and display your best reviews from all these different places on your website or on some other places online. So that's a great way to kind of, have an automated way to get the fresh, new, good, positive reviews showing up on your website. And you can also, it also has some kind of behind the scenes SEO benefit. So it will let you take control of your business information online. So there's all the different online directories that you might either subscribe to put your information up there, or they just crawl the web looking for new businesses and business listings to grab on the information, and then they put you up on their directory. And then you might update your phone number or something, but that business directory doesn't reflect that change you made. So people will be seeing the old phone number, and they might call the old phone number, and then you won't get the phone call. So it's important to make sure that those are called citations. The citations for your business across the internet are all kept in sync. And so Tech Reputation also is able to do that for you. And that's a really cool tool. It integrates with Repair Shopper. Soon it's going to integrate with TechSite Builder, and it integrates with a couple other apps that are out there, so you can connect it to whatever you need. So if someone fills out, a Repair Shopper, a help ticket, an invoice, and then they pay the invoice, and then, a certain amount of time later, it automatically will generate the Tech Reputation review request. And So it's a great service. I highly recommend you check it out. And to top that all off, Rami, the founder, is offering listeners of this podcast an exclusive 10% discount on the service. And that's 10% off the monthly plan that you pay. So that's for as long as you're on the platform. To take advantage of that, just use the coupon code TSB10. So head on over to techreputation.com/TSB. That's the special link that we have just for listeners of this show. And then when you check out, be sure to use the coupon code TSB10, and that'll give you 10% off your Tech Reputation services. Alrighty, so that is that. Let's go ahead and jump into the featured topic. So the featured topic for today is the anatomy of an effective blog post. So as you guys know, I released a new service called Tech Blog Builder, and that's a service that we will write an effective blog post for your computer business. Now, what does effective mean? I like to be fully transparent in the services I provide. I also like to give you guys the tools you need to do anything that I can do. So with Tech Site Builder or with Tech Blog Builder, none of the stuff I'm doing is rocket science. None of it is proprietary. It's all just good old-fashioned, grassroots, good marketing. And so with the Tech Blog Builder, the blogs we write kind of follow a formula for effectiveness. And I want to go over that formula, talk about the 8 things that we have a little checklist that we do when we're writing blog posts, the 8 things that we make sure to do as we're writing the blog posts. And I want you guys to have that. So if you want to go out and write your own blog post, that's great. Please do so. No one could write a blog post for your business better than you can. So that's definitely the ideal situation. However, if you're too busy or you're not the best writer, and you might have to look in the mirror and ask yourself honestly, am I a good writer? If not, then a service like Tech Blog Builder might be a good bet for you, a good thing to try. But if you want to give blog writing a shot for yourself, listen up, because we're going to talk about how to make an effective blog post. First of all, I wanted to kind of go over what makes why blogging is important in the first place. And I think of all the ways you can generate content for your business, and we're talking content marketing here. So this is very much non-aggressive, passive marketing. I like content marketing because you can do something once and then put it out in the world, and then it'll be out there forever. So you could write a bunch of blog posts, and each blog post will stand on its own and be there. You can continue to push people to it. You can continue to promote it. People can continue to find it. So that's a great thing about content marketing. I also like blog posts in particular because you can write the blog post, and then you could take that content and put it in your newsletter. You can create a video about that and make a video. You can turn it into a podcast like I'm doing now. The points I'm going to go over now were originally a webinar. So you can, take your blog post and make a webinar or whatever. But a blog post is a good starting point for lots of other things you can do with that content. Plus, another benefit of writing consistent blog posts is it's great for SEO. One of the ranking factors of Google, that is what Google looks for to see if your website is worthy of pushing up the search engine results when someone is searching for computer repair or whatever. One of those ranking factors is the freshness of the content you produce, and it's also the relevance of the content you produce, and it's also the length of the content you produce. So a lot of the ranking factors that Google looks at has to do with your content. So the more it goes to say then that the more content you put out in the world, the more blog posts you create, the more chances Google has to see you as an authority, to index all those pages and to put those pages up on the search results when someone's searching for the particular topic you're talking about in that blog post. Finally, the blog writing consistent content in the blog or anywhere helps to strengthen your existing relationships with your clients. So, you can, work with a client, fix their computer or whatever, and then, they're happy, you're happy, they take off, and they never hear from you again. That's not an ideal situation, because then 2 years from now, when their computer breaks or they're hired at this company and that company needs IT support, they forget about you, and then they go in the yellow pages or they go online and your website doesn't show up, and then they hire somebody else. That's the worst case scenario. So with blogging, you're able to keep fresh content in front of your customers. So when you create a blog post, you share it on your social media accounts. Make sure your customers are following you on your social media accounts. And you can also take that blog post and throw it in your newsletter, and then send your customers your newsletter once a month or so. And then they're consistently getting value from you even after they've purchased your services. So those are some benefits of consistently writing blog posts. Greg in the chat says, consistency is my problem. Yes. Consistency is tough. Believe me. It's hard for me to do this podcast every week, but I got it on the calendar and I got all you guys waiting for it. So that helps keep me going. So sometimes you need that extrinsic motivation. A good technique is to let your customers know, hey, I'm going to be writing a weekly blog post with, computer tips. So be sure to tune in for that. And then, you've got a bunch of people that are waiting for your weekly tip. So that keeps you kind of motivated to keep that weekly tip going. So let your clients know, let your friends or family know, just kind of put it out there saying, hey, I'm going to do this. And then people are going to be waiting for it. And then if you don't do it, they're going to come to you and say, hey, where was your weekly blog post? And then you're like, oh, okay, I kind of fell off the wagon. Let me get back on. And then you can continue to do it. So, that's a great point though. Consistency is important, and it's hard. It's hard to stay consistent. So that's, I'll plug the service again, but that's kind of why Tech Blog Builder is out there, right? Because you sign up for Tech Blog Builder, we consistently write those blog posts for you, so you don't even have to worry about it, and you can get some good results. So let's go into the 8 parts, the 8 parts of an effective blog post. Number 1, and we're kind of starting from the top of the post and working our way down. If you're thinking of a blog post and you're reading it from the top down, we're kind of going to go in that kind of order. So we're going to start with, say it with me, the headline or the title, the thing at the top of the blog post. Now, the headline's super important. It's the first thing people see when they're going to look at the blog post. Also, when you share it on social media, it shows up nice and bold underneath the image that you have, and we'll talk about images in a second. But the title shows up nice and bold. Sometimes they don't even see the body of the post. It's just the title that shows up, like Twitter, for example. So you want to make sure that the title is captivating, but that it also is, getting the point across about what the blog post is actually about. So I have some formulas that I like to use for titles that have been proven to work well. And that you can use when you're trying to think what should I make the title be of this blog post? You can use these formulas to kind of craft a title. So one of the formulas is result plus a period of time plus alleviating any objections that the reader might have. So of course we got to give you an example. So say you're writing a blog post about ways to speed up your computer. Like if you have a slow computer, you want to make it faster. How can you speed up a slow computer? So the title for that, using this formula, would be, in the first spot is result. So that is a faster computer. So maybe something like how to speed up your computer, right? That's the result. After you read this article, you will learn how to speed up your computer. So the first part of the title is how to speed up your computer. The middle part is a period of time. So you want people to see that they'll be able to do this quickly. Because another thing, when people are reading blog posts or they're online, they're probably short on time. They're scrolling through their feed. They want to get through stuff really quickly. So you want to let them know that this is not going to take a week to implement, or they're not going to have to be in front of their computer all afternoon to do this. So let's say maybe 10 minutes. So you could tell them to do a couple things in Windows, empty the recycle bin, or clear their temporary files, maybe run a utility. and it should all take 10 minutes. So now we have the result plus the period of time. So it's how to speed up your computer in 10 minutes. So that right there is a decent title, how to speed up your computer in 10 minutes. But when someone's reading, again, when someone's about to read this blog post and they're like, they see this title, how to speed up your computer in 10 minutes, they might think to themselves, they might have objections in their mind that will prevent them from reading the article. One of the objections was, I don't have time. So you addressed that with the time part of it. But then another objection might be, I've heard this before. This is like those scam companies that say, hey, we could speed up your computer. Just, give us your credit card number, or, download this software, but you can't use it until you pay us. So it's like, there's that scammy software that tries to tune up your computer, but ends up just hosing it. So maybe that's what they think when they see the title, how to speed up your computer in 10 minutes. So that might be an objection. So you want to address that objection right up at the front in the title. So we would say our whole title now would be how to speed up your computer in 10 minutes without using any software. So that would be a great title for a post about speeding up your computer. I'd love for the folks in the chat to come up with their own title using this formula. So, like if there's a service that you want to promote in your next blog post, what would be your title using the result, period of time, address objections formula? Let me know in the chat. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Now, there's a couple other formulas really quick. One formula is to ask a question and then either just ask a question that someone might ask. Like, for example, how do I, if your computer is running slowly, you would say, is your computer running slowly? Or would you like to know how to speed up your computer? Some kind of like question, like to get them to say, yeah, sure, yeah, let me, what do you got? I want to know, just to pique their interest. It's a psychological thing, but if you ask a question, the person in their mind attempts to answer it or attempts to like participate by answering the question in their head. So you could say something like, is your computer running slowly? ? And you put the question mark right there in the title. In fact, it's been shown that titles that have some sort of punctuation or symbols in them perform better. That is, people click on them more often than ones that don't. So you could put in brackets, you could put in exclamation marks or question marks. So in this case, you would ask the question, is your computer running slowly? And then the rest of the title would be the answer to that question. Then you can say, here are 5 easy ways to speed it up. So the whole title for your blog would be computer running slowly, ? Here are 5 easy ways to speed it up, ! You can even end it with an exclamation mark. That way, again, all these titles, the person seeing it knows what to expect. And when they see that, they're going to, you ask the question, is your computer running slowly? Oh, yeah. Okay, well, we have 5 easy ways to speed it up. Click. They're going to click through. And that's really the point of a title, is to get someone to click. And that's like where the word clickbait comes from. So, I have mixed feelings about clickbait. Clickbait, the bad kind of clickbait, is the kind that makes you think the article is about something that it's not. Like this famous celebrity, this famous celebrity will help you fix your computer. And then turns out in the blog post, it just mentions, that some B-list celebrity, mentioned a computer in some, TV show or something. But it has nothing, the title is kind of misleading. So we don't want to do that. We don't want the title to be misleading. But I think there are certain clickbaity things that can help, the number, like the 5 steps to blah, 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 or 7 ways to blah, blah, blah. Those lists, people love the lists because those are quick. You can kind of scan them. You can get the information you want. And it's kind of bam, 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 bam. Kind of like this podcast. I have 8, the anatomy of an effective blog post, 8 ways to create a blog post that's effective. So that's kind of what I'm doing with this podcast as well. So those are some kind of formulas that you can use for your blog posts to use that formula. Okay, let's see. Someone, Greg says in the chat, become a cybersecurity warrior in minutes quick and simple tips. Okay, that's pretty good. It's a little, it doesn't flow. I would maybe get rid of like the quick and part. Become a cybersecurity warrior in minutes with these simple tips, or something like that. Become a cybersecurity warrior in minutes with these simple tips. There you go. What are you going to do? You're going to become a cybersecurity warrior. I like that. Cybersecurity warrior. That's very like rah rah. Let's go kick some hackers' butts. And then you have a time frame in minutes with these simple tips. Great. Perfect. Okay, so let's move on. The next part of an effective blog post is to use images and use relevant images. So I can't tell you the number of computer business blogs I go to that it's just a wall of text. It's just nothing but text. You know, if you think about it these days, what are the popular social media platforms? Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest. All of these social media platforms have one thing in common, and that is images. They're primarily image sharing platforms. People love images. People can relate to images. It catches the eye, especially if you're going to be sharing the blog post to social media. If you've seen, you know, when a post gets shared to Facebook or something, it shows a nice big image there, and then the title. So you want that image to be eye-catching. You want to use an image for sure. And you want the image to be relevant. So if I have, going back to my last example, if I have how to speed up your computer in 10 minutes without using any software, and then I have a picture of a palm tree, there's no connection there. Even like using an image of your logo for your business or the front of your store, that still is a disconnect, because that's not what the post is about. The post is about how to speed up your computer in 10 minutes without using any software. So you might want to use an image of like a tortoise and a hare racing each other, or like a Usain Bolt running in the Olympics, or an alarm clock, that shows kind of like the time urgency. So something like that, right? Kind of a clever, eye-catching photo that fits with your blog post. So you want to keep it colorful. Studies show that the best, the images that perform the best, that is, entice people to click on them, are the ones that include people, and and more importantly, it includes people that are looking in the direction that you want someone to take an action. So that's kind of hard, because when you share it on social media, you don't know where necessarily the link is going to be. Is it going to be above and below? Most of the time it's below. So if you could find an image of a person like looking down and pointing, that's going to get people just subconsciously to click the link. But either way, just having a person, a smiling face. A lot of times it should be a good looking person, like a model. That's why in all the stock photos, it's just a bunch of good looking people doing ordinary things, like a beautiful model, sitting at a keyboard in front of the computer, or, whatever. But, and I know we've seen those cheesy stock photos of like, this model with like perfect hair has a hammer, is like working on a construction site or something. And there's like, they can't look that good and be working at a construction site. They would have to have grease or dirt or sweat or whatever. But so, definitely don't use the cheesy stock photos. Try to look for stock photos that look natural. But definitely use images, definitely use relevant images. Images also help with SEO. That's another ranking factor that Google looks for. Google knows that people prefer images in the content that they read. So Google will favor content that uses images over, if all things being equal, over another piece of content that does not have images. So that's something to keep in mind. The item number 3 for an effective blog post is there's 2 different kinds of links. So the first one is called interlinking. And this is, you want to make sure you include links in your post. And where interlinking is concerned, you want to make sure that you're creating links in your blog post to other pages on your website. This really helps keep people engaged, keep people on your website. So for example, if I'm reading a blog post about speeding up your computer, and then you're talking about, performing Windows updates. And then a lot of times people get confused about how to perform Windows updates, or they're not sure, how to do that or why it's important. You could link from there to another blog post you have about the importance of Windows updates, or you could link that to one of your managed services plans where you can say, hey, we'll take care of the updates for you so you don't even have to worry about it. But it's a way to keep people going, crawling through your website and showing them relevant pages on your site. Because the worst thing you can have happen is someone reads your blog post and then they leave and go somewhere else. You want them to be reading the blog post, and then, hey, if there's a link that looks good and they click on it, that'll take them to some other page on your website that they probably wouldn't have known about if that link wasn't there. So that's the first benefit of interlinking. The second benefit of interlinking is, of course, for SEO. So we know Google is a search engine, and the way it crawls the web is it follows links. So it'll look at a page, and then it'll look at all the links on that page, and then it'll follow that link to where that link goes. And then from there, it'll continue the cycle. That's why they call it a web crawler. It crawls the web and follows the links. So we want to make sure that we have links for the search engines to follow. Also, the page you're linking to will get some benefit from that link, because every link that points to a web page is like a vote of confidence in the eyes of Google for the page that it's linking to. So if I link from my blog post about speeding up my computer to my service page about managed services where we will help keep Windows up to date, that will tell Google that, hey, that managed services page is a decent page because it has a link pointing to it. And Google doesn't care if that link's coming from your own website or from another website. For the most part, in its eyes, a link is a link is a link. So definitely link to other pages. Don't go crazy, though. Just 2 or 3 links at most is all you need per blog post. But just go ahead and throw some links in there to some other pages on your site. It definitely helps. All right. The point number 4. Actually, before we do that, let's see. Jay in the chat says, SEO complains I don't have any external links and I don't want to send people away. Oh, we're going to get there. So you're reading my mind. So we'll get there. But first, point number 4 for an effective blog post is to vary up the formatting. So along the lines of the images, you want to make the blog post interesting. To make it interesting, you don't want it to be just a wall of text. You've seen those pages, right? Where it's just, sometimes there's not even a paragraph break. It's just a wall of text. And you look at that and you immediately are like, unless it's like super important that you read this thing, it feels like work. It feels like homework. I'm just going to go, do something else. I'm going to go look at cat videos. So you want to break up the text not only into paragraphs, of course, short paragraphs, but also use headings. You want to use lists, like numbered lists and bullet lists. You want to make some of your words or sentences bold or italic to emphasize certain points. You can also embed different media, like we talked about images, but also videos or audio or tweets or social media posts. Keep adding stuff peppered throughout your blog post, and that'll keep it engaging, keep it interesting, keep the person reading down because there's something new to catch their eye as they scroll down the page. So that's a real simple one. Just make sure that you're if you're using WordPress, just every now and then remember to go up to that toolbar where you can add bold or you can add bullet lists, and just find some places where you can do that, where it makes sense and where it's natural. Don't just make things bold willy-nilly, but find some places where you can emphasize a point, make it bold, or if you're quoting someone, you can make that turn it into italics, or make a bullet list or a numbered list, and that definitely helps people read the whole thing and keeps them engaged with your content. Along the same lines, number 5 is subheadings. So you want to break your article into sections using subheadings. If you look at most major news outlets, especially kind of like the lifestyle or even like the technology news outlets, most of their articles are broken up into sections that are headed up by a subheading. So for example, if you're talking about ways to speed up your computer, each of those ways will have its own subheading. So like way number 1, empty your recycle bin. Way number 2, make sure all your Windows updates have been performed. Way number 3, get rid of all those stinking toolbars in your browser, and so on and so forth. Each of those is a heading. That way the reader can scan the article, they can see what the article is about, they can jump to the part of the article that interests them. And really, that we don't necessarily want to force them to read every single word of our article. We just want them to enjoy the experience. We want them to get the information they're looking for. And if they need to scan and find the place where the piece of information they're looking for is, let's make it easy. This also helps with SEO. Everything I mentioned is also good for SEO. Google looks at those subheadings to see if there's any keywords in those subheadings. It's going to favor those keywords over other keywords that are just in the regular body text of your blog post. So break it up into headings, throw in some keywords in those headings, and you're going to keep the Google gods happy. All right. Way number 6, outbound linking. So this is for you, Jay, who asked that question in the Facebook group. You want to also include 1 or 2, usually about 1, outbound link, so a link to a reputable source. If you're talking about ways to speed up your computer, maybe you can link to a Microsoft article, where they talk about speeding up your computer, or you can go off to like CNET or, a news outlet where they might have an article about speeding up your computer. Now, Jay did bring up a point that if someone's clicking a link that goes out somewhere else, that's technically leading them away from your website. That is true, but I think the benefits outweigh the risks in this case. If you have a good, well-researched, very, reputable links from your blog posts, that's going to further establish you as an authority. For example, if someone, comes to you, they need, their printer is broken, but you don't do printer repairs, but they need help with their printer, you refer them to maybe a trusted colleague or another business in the neighborhood that you have a relationship with. That you're technically sending the customer away, but you're not like kicking them out and saying, hey, get out of here, I don't want to see you anymore. You're providing value to them by sending them to that other resource. And then they're going to look back to you as a trusted advisor, someone who leads them to the right path when they need it. And that's kind of the same way an outbound link works. You're linking out to some further reading, some further evidence that supports what you're talking about. It's like the citations or the footnotes in a research paper. You're like, I'm saying this and I know what I'm talking about because, hey, here's this other thing that says the same thing I'm saying. One thing you can do to reduce the chances that it's going to actually send the person away permanently is there's a little piece of code you can add to your links that make it so when they click it, it opens it in a new browser tab. So they never actually will leave or exit the page that they're on. Instead, it'll just open that link in a new browser tab. So now both your website and that other website are open, and then they can just go back to your website later on. Most blogging platforms like WordPress, for example, will let you make your link open in a new tab automatically. You can just check a box or something. So it's not that hard to do. Otherwise, just look up the HTML code for opening up in a new tab. It's target equals blank. But look that up because there's a way you have to format it. But that's what you can do is just make sure that the link opens up in a new window, and then you're not going to have that big a problem. All right. Number 7. This, if you ignore everything I'm saying in this podcast, don't ignore this one. This is the most important piece of the puzzle. That is call to action. At the end of your blog post, you want some sort of call to action. So what that means is, okay, I read your post. It's great. I got a lot of information out of it. I love it. What do I do next? As a reader, what do you want me to do next? A lot of times for journalistic enterprises like newspapers or blogs, that's the business is the blog, they want you to read another article. So often you'll see like suggested posts or the next post, or here's some related topics that you can go to. You can do that as well. If you want to, list some related blog posts, that'll keep the person reading. What I like to do for computer businesses is have the call to action be to contact you or to sign up for a newsletter. Now, one thing I recommend with the calls to action is that you make them different depending on what the post is about. So for example, the one, 5 easy ways to speed up a computer, the call to action at the bottom could be, let us, now that you've sped up your computer, let us, do a free comprehensive health check of your entire system to make sure there's nothing else you overlooked. Just click this button or call this phone number or fill out this form, and we will schedule your free consultation. Or you can have them sign up for your newsletter, and you could say, hey, if you want more tips like this, if you love these tips about speeding up your computer, then you're going to love even more the tips that we have for you in our newsletter. And then here's our newsletter sign-up box right here at the bottom of the blog post. So again, the worst thing that can happen is someone reads your post and then there's nothing at the bottom and they're like, okay, great, let me go back to cat videos. You want to give them an action. Tell them to take the action too. Explicitly tell them what to do. So when they get to the bottom of the blog post, you can say, hey, if you want more tips like this, be sure to sign up for our newsletter. Or, hey, if you want to read some other articles that are similar to this one that can help your computer run better, here is a list of those articles. Or, like I said, hey, if you want us to schedule a free consultation where we can, help you further speed up your computer or check up other parts of the health of your computer, give us a call at this number and we'll schedule your free consultation. Any of those are good. They keep the person on the website, they keep them engaged, and then they will eventually be a follower or a customer of yours as a result. So can't emphasize that enough. Do not forget your call to action at the bottom of the post. The last piece of the puzzle for your blog post, one that I want to address, is the length. How long does your blog post have to be? That's always something that people struggle with. They, sometimes they just ramble on because they feel like they need to have it be a certain length. Or a lot of times I say it's too short. They'll have like maybe 3 paragraphs, very quick. You can't give enough value in 3 paragraphs. And remember, these blog posts have to deliver value in spades. You have to make this be an awesome post, lots of free value, make the person feel like they're coming away from reading that, a better person than they were when they started it. And I know that's kind of exaggerating a little bit, but it's true. You want to try your hardest to make them feel that way. So make it as thorough as possible. Give them lots of hints, lots of tips, lots of walkthroughs, lots of step-by-steps, put in some videos from YouTube in there, give them some links to other pages, but you want to make it a good length. So as far as length is concerned, my advice to you is the longer the better. The longer the better while still being helpful and relevant. So again, you don't want to ramble on, you don't want to repeat the same thing over and over again, but you want to go into depth as much as you can, and you want to shoot for about 1,000 words. So I like 1,000 words, maybe 800 to 1,000 words is a good, meaty blog post. That's the length of post that we write in Tech Blog Builder. It's good. It gives you a nice intro. Then you can have your points in the middle and then a nice conclusion, and you wrap it all up in a bow. That's a nice, solid blog post. The research has shown that actually the benchmark for length of content on a post is 2,000 words. So 2,000 word posts perform better in search results, all things being equal, than longer or shorter posts. So if you go over 2,000 words, that's too much. And if you're under 800 words, that's too little. But between 800 and 8,000, I think is realistic or 800 and 1,000 is realistic for a computer business. To get to 2,000 words, that takes a lot, and that'll be hard to do unless you're doing like a comprehensive walkthrough or something like that, which is great. But just shoot for 1,000 as a goal. Just make sure you're keeping the reader engaged throughout the entire process. All right, guys, so that is it. Let's just review those really quick. The 8 tips to write an effective blog post. Number 1, captivating headline. Remember the formula: result plus period of time plus address any objections, or asking a question and then answering it in the title. Number 2, relevant images. Number 3, interlinking. Number 4, varied formatting. Number 5, subheadings. Number 6, outbound linking. Number 7, the call to action, the most important one. And number 8, the length, which should be around 800 to 1,000 words. If you do these things I said on a weekly basis, not saying every day, but like on a weekly basis, once a week, you produce this caliber of blog post on a consistent basis, and you make sure to share it to your customers, share it on social media, and then you keep producing it, and the search engines will love you. I guarantee eventually, and it's probably not going to take that long, you're going to get a client, you're going to get a service call, you're going to get someone to contact you because of the post they read. I see it happen all the time. It's already been happening with Tech Blog Builder customers, and it can happen if you put the effort into it, whether it's you or whether you hire somebody, but it is worth it. I think it's worth the effort. It's worth the time invested or the money invested, because it just takes one blog post to hit the nerve with someone, and then they'll hire you for hundreds or thousands of dollars, and it's great. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you didn't mind me yammering on for the entire episode, but I appreciate the questions you guys were asking. That was very good. Help me think about things a little bit, and hopefully that answered your question. And you guys are going to start producing excellent blog posts. Share the blog posts. If you write a post you're specifically or especially proud of, share it in the Computer Business Marketing group, or send it to me and let me say, hey, what do you think of this post? I'd love to check out the blog post you guys are writing as a result of this formula. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Computer Business Marketing Show. The second sponsor for this episode is Tech Blog Builder. So if you want a blog written exactly how we talked about on this episode, head on over to techblogbuilder.com. And that is going to do it for this episode of Computer Business Marketing Show. Let's keep the conversation going. Head on over to computerbusinessmarketing.com and leave a comment in the comments section. And don't forget to review us in iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to this podcast. Every review helps us get found, and we haven't received a review in a while, so I'd love to hear what you guys think of the show. Please leave us a review. Also, if you haven't joined us, please do so. Join us in the Facebook group, the Computer Business Marketing Group. Just go to techsitebuilder.com/group. That'll forward you to the Computer Business Marketing Group. And from there, you can get lots of tips and ask questions and learn from other computer business owners. And it's a great group. Lots of great stuff going on over there. Would love to have you there. And that is going to do it for this episode of the Computer Business Marketing Show. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, Tech Reputation and Tech Blog Builder. My name is Matthew Rodella, saying here's to your success.